first power of ordination is called endunamo. When a man becomes persuaded, he refuses to consider his circumstances. You may be persuaded that God wants you to win souls, and then when you start, the first people that will abuse you are your friends. And then they'll say, "Nah, wow. Okay, we'll give you 2 weeks." When you come to the room, they'll start doing like this. I remember those days when we were small. You know, demon walk with children. We stood up and said, anything anybody does to us. I thought it had finished. He gave me backhand. I removed my slippers. When I rooted him, you know why? I was a babe. I didn't know endunamo. Because these things are not willful things. They are not resolution. When you sustain a consciousness that a God wants to walk with you, the power of that God comes upon you. That power that comes upon you is what we call endunamo. It was Abraham that was barren. He had no children. But God didn't go to the man having 10, 20 children. It is the impotent man God said is interested in. And the moment Abraham could see it, the Bible said Abraham staggered not at the promises of God through unbelief. He said he was strong. The word strong is the word endunamo. There was an ability that came upon him. As I'm talking to you now, somebody all of a sudden is beginning to remember 10 years ago when you were 13 years and God told you will be a prophet. Suddenly you begin to remember when you saw a vision, you were preaching in a stadium. Now you are 23. It looks as if it's impossible, but God is reminding you that that thing was not a thought. He spoke to you. And if you are persuaded, there is an ability of God that comes upon you. When I was 12, everywhere I went to, I wore tie. I've seen myself preaching to people, crowds, but I was even a Catholic. And I was not intending to become a priest. How will I preach to people? I couldn't see in the natural, but the one that spoke, he spoke from the executive court. So he didn't bother where I was part time. He only bothered from where he spoke from. And where he spoke from, there's no Catholic, there's no Methodist. There is God and man. And when he said, you will be my voice, nothing mattered. The day it became real to me and I was persuaded and ability came upon me, that was when my tongue was anointed. As I'm talking like this, if I want people to start shouting now, I can do it. Because there's an oil here. It's called endunamo. That oil makes it. I can talk to people for 10 hours. They will be listening as if I just started talking. It's an oil. It's endunamo. Because endunamo is the ability that will make you defeat the opposition the devil brings. Some of you, when you say you will work for God, fear will attack you. You stand up, you want to talk. It looks as if your heart wants to jump out of your mouth. What you need is endunamo. Endunamo. And there's a way to provoke endunamo. One of the ways to provoke endunamo is to enter into the spirit. Is to enter. So when you enter the spirit, you are no longer concerned about natural things. So everybody there can be a thug. You are not seeing thugs, you are seeing souls. Sometimes the hardest people to talk to are your friends. That's when you will discover that most of the people around you are the reason you will never be great. Because if you say, today na Friday, no go club. Yeah! Somebody can buy you 5 bottles of Star. But tell him you want to buy Bible. He won't have money. If you go to a club and you need a woman, he can pay for your hotel accommodation, give you the money to give the lady. Wake up the next morning and say, "Hi, this handout of 1.5, help me.